Hey, Ben, how are you?
I'm fucking pissed off.
I'm also very angry. Hey, Alex, how are you?
I'm kind of bummed out
You're
Yeah.
bummed out. Why are you bummed out?
because you guys are pissed off.
Okay, you know why we're pissed off, though.
And it's not
Yeah,
your
and it
fault.
bums me
Just like
out.
when you were a kid. So, for
Ryan,
our
why are you pissed off?
well, there's a lot of reasons to why I'm pissed off today. You know what? Because today, to be clear, for our viewers and our listeners, is our hater episode, Mark
Hater
2.
episode number 2.
I did 3 intentionally to make you mad. Did it work?
Fuck off.
And today I'm going to talk about stuff we hate. Because we can't be positive every week on this show, even though we usually are.
I don't think we have been, actually. We're mostly like, oh, the AAA game industry is bad. Everything is
Well,
bad.
Yeah, but people
And-
like
and
that
the last-
content.
On the last episode, you started out with all the good things happening in gaming, and then it just got worse and worse and worse.
Hell yeah. This week we're starting out with the bad, we're staying with the bad, and everything's going horribly wrong. This week I'm going to talk about how much I hate computers. I'm also going to talk about how much I hate certain songs.
I'm going to talk about how much I hate Nintendo.
Oh, easy. That's an easy one.
Which is crazy, because I'm such a big Nintendo fan, but I fucking hate them right now.
Yeah. Alex, what do you want to hate?
Well, keeping with my tradition, I'm going to share an RPG that I hate, and I also hate
Hell
something
yeah.
that I also hate something that Ben does, which I want to call him out for publicly on his own podcast.
Okay. Is that what
Beautiful.
we're going to start with? We would want to get into it right now?
Oh, I figured we'd start with our hating of our studio.
Okay, yeah, no, actually,
Yeah.
tell the story of what
Yeah, you
was
gotta
so
strike
fucking
while the
wrong
iron is
going
hot.
into this episode. Because, let's see, we got to the studio at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
We are now recording at 10:40.
Roughly, yep. And the
So-
reason we're doing that is because something has happened in between us being here and somebody else being here. We don't know what.
Since last recording, they fucked with their entire setup, and everything's goddamn awful.
Yeah, so the computer was running like shit. It was not working. It took me like 5 minutes to move the mouse to get the start button.
Yeah, it's so fucking slow. What the fuck is going on?
We don't know what's going on there. We don't have desktop capture. Ordinarily, we'll have like the desk where Alex's beautiful visage is right here. We'll have the desktop, and you'll be able to see Opera, and you see all the stuff on the websites and whatnot. But we don't have that this week because I'm afraid that it'll crash the whole thing. Also,
So
it crashed.
if I
The
if I have
computer crashed.
images to send you, then just no, is that happening this episode?
No images.
Nope.
Not this week. We don't want to have the
If
computer
you
crash on us
if you
again.
can print it out and put it onto the camera, will be great.
Yeah. Just hold it up.
Be perfect. And also, if you could make sure that the microphone is next to the printer so that it's very loud and annoying, that would really benefit the show, I feel.
Don't worry.
So, Alex, what did you want to hate on? Because you said a specific RPG. I assumed, because we were talking about what we hate last night in
No,
preparation for this
no,
episode, I just
I-
assumed
I-
we were talking about, general RPG hatred. Like, how much...
I decided that's not good content. I was like, no, I have a thing I do here. I tell you about an RPG and everything just like about this one, and it'll be more than enough for you to say, wow, this is fucking lame.
Yeah.
Or did you want to talk about how much you hate me first?
Sure. This is, to be clear, a personal attack, just so there's no ambiguity. Okay, so I
Will I
am
be able
the
to
number-
dogpile?
I'm the number one fan of the show, as we all know. I have cultivated the most
sure.
mold,
That's-
but some of this mold has gone a little sour. Something that Ben does on this podcast, he's done on many episodes now. When he wants to praise a video game that he likes, he will compliment it by saying that it is art. And I take issue
All
with
video
this.
games are art.
All video games are art. That's not a compliment. You sound like an ass when you say, "Oh, Metroid 2 is art." Like, yeah, duh. Fucking every game is art, even the bad ones.
Okay.
Damn.
Metroid 2 is good art. I don't know.
There you go. That's
I
all
would
you
just
had to
say it's
say.
good.
Or you, yeah. Starfield is art. All right.
It's
Rise
I
to Hell
am-
Retribution is art.
I'm literally delegitimizing like my own argument when I say
I know.
that. Yeah, okay.
Because
I never
I
really
know
thought about it.
there was a point in time where people were heavily litigating the question of if video games are art. Ben remembers in 2005 when Roger Ebert had to make an ass out of himself and say video games can never be art, and I'm sure it's that
I
wound
do
is never
remember
healed.
That. The
But that
arguments
was
on
20
Reddit
years
have
ago.
Dude, I have so much more respect for Roger Ebert than any of the gamers that were arguing with him, despite him being on the games are not art side.
Well, yeah, he was a respectable man with a good. I mean, I don't know if he had good opinions, but he was like,
He made some really bad arguments. 'Cause
Yeah.
He was like saying that like video games can't be art because they're interactive, and I'm like, I don't fucking theater is interactive, dude.
yeah, what are you talking about? Books are
Yeah, no,
interactive.
I love Roger Ebert. I think he was a genius, and he also had lots of bad takes. He really disliked horror
Yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
and that bums me out.
I was gonna make that point. He's made a lot of really weird takes on certain movies that I find odd.
If Angelina Jolie was in the film, he will just add another star to his review. Like it doesn't matter how bad the if it was a 0-star movie, it gets at least 1 if Angelina Jolie was in it.
We all have
Damn.
an
The
man
actress
was
who's
very
worth
open
1
about his
star.
crush.
Then
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, kinda. If Nicolas Cage is in the movie, it's a little better than it would have been, but it also is a little worse. It sort of evens out.
yeah.
It sort of depends. Except for Raising
that-
Arizona, that was great.
Oh my god. We're not talking about Raising
That-
Arizona because we love Raising Arizona. We're only talking about things
yeah,
we
we got to talk
yeah,
about
we're only
things
talking
we
about stuff we
hate.
hate.
I
What's
think
an
I
RPG
got my
you hate?
first hatred. I got my first hatred out. You did not put up much of a fight, so thank you.
I could
no,
I
you're
could talk
right.
about one I hate about Ben.
I feel very okay. Fine. Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on. Bring it on. Bring it on.
This is actually something I've told you before. I hate the way you drive. It's just so scary.
I'm not a good driver. Okay.
You can say something you hate about me.
I don't have anything I hate. Okay, no, wait, no, stop, time out. I fucking hate playing Twilight Imperium with you.
That's very true.
I fucking hate
I was gonna
goddamn
say-
negotiating with you in Twilight Imperium.
I'm gonna back up Ben on this. Ryan is incredibly unreasonable during board games. Like all logical faculties suddenly shut off. He becomes this like
Like-
McCarthyist era paranoid like maniac.
I hate it because the thing that I hate about that is I don't realize it at all when I'm
The
doing it.
fairest deals, you're like, I don't think that's. I think you're trying to get one over me. I'm like, I'm just trying to get anything. I'm trying to dig myself out of the fucking hole that you put me in.
I have a question.
I don't recognize it when I'm doing it. You have a
Have
question?
either of you gentlemen ever played the board game Diplomacy?
No.
Not yet.
We have talked about it though.
Yeah, there's a copy sitting at Eric's house that we got to try out at some time, right?
Is there? I have no idea.
I could have sworn he had a copy of Diplomacy. I mean, he's listening to the podcast. He'll let us know.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. I mostly play online though, and I usually do the thing where we do every turn is 24 real life hours because that's
Yeah.
actually much less stressful than trying to squeeze an 8-hour game into one day where every turn is 15 minutes, which I think is the rules as written in the book.
Mhm.
Ryan, I want to see you play that game, and I want to see you finally break once and for all.
Jeez.
Because it's all about making trades and stuff, right?
and backstabbing. Like it is the most paranoia-inducing game of all time. It's a nightmare.
The only thing you do in that game is make alliances knowing that you're going to have to backstab them later or get backstabbed yourself.
Okay.
That's the entire game.
We'll definitely play it at some point. I think we're trying to play Eclipse whenever we're able.
Yeah. If we ever go back to board games again. Speaking of things I hate what happened to Eric's hand.
Yes. So I don't want to go into in depth about what happened to Eric's hand, but something happened to it, and now we can't go to his house.
What the fuck?
Listen, Eric.
Yes, please get well
Okay.
soon.
I'm
'Cause
sorry, Eric.
Now we can't go to his house or play board games.
Why are we keeping what happened to his hand secret?
Because I don't know if he wants us to even tell anyone about it.
He got injured. It's not a secret.
Well, I don't know if you wanted us to tell him anything about any of that.
Sorry.
No,
All right,
no,
I've got
keep
a
it
bad.
keep it ambiguous. I like to use my imagination.
It could have been anything.
I'm
Okay,
imagining his
we're having
hand
too
got
much
possessed
fun.
by a. I'm imagining he got possessed by a demon like an Evil Dead 2, so you can't play board games with him now because he'll strangle you.
Oh god, that's pretty good actually.
Yeah. I'll talk about a thing I hate.
Okay, let's talk about things you
I
hate.
hate computers.
Oh, here it comes.
I fucking hate computers. I used to think when I was younger that I was really liked computers because I had to get into them because I played video games.
Right?
I realized more recently, last few years, I actually don't like computers at all.
They're actually horrible.
What I like is video games. Computers facilitate me to play video games, so I have to interface with them on some level. But I don't like them. And the other thing I really hate about them is being tech support.
Yeah. And you are tech support more than anybody I know.
Pretty much, because I'm very nice in real life, not in board games, evidently. And people ask me to do stuff, and I'm like, sure, this is an excuse to hang out with them, and I get to help people, and I love helping people. So last night, actually 2 nights ago, my friend Aiden, who I've mentioned a couple times on the podcast, asked me to come look at his computer because something was wrong with it. He would turn on the computer, he would play a game, and then the screen would shut off, but the computer would still be working.
So, something wrong with the monitor.
That's what I thought, but no. I thought maybe his display cables were the problem, but no. I worried that maybe it was his GPU. So I did a whole bunch of stuff. I did troubleshooting, took it out, did all this other stuff, changed the monitors, changed the cables, and then I had to take it home. And at home, his GPU worked fine. It's not his graphics card that's the problem. His motherboard's fucked.
Okay.
I don't know how his motherboard's fucked. I don't know what he did, what he could have done, because he doesn't open it. It's also the cleanest computer I've ever experienced in my life.
Despite the fact that he doesn't open it.
Yes. And the fact that it's on this floor with a bunch of cats. The only thing I'm sure of is it isn't a power supply issue. I'm pretty sure it's his motherboard, I should say. I'm pretty sure his motherboard's fucked, but I just don't know how or why. And so now, he has to get a new motherboard. He doesn't have a computer because I have it, and I have to go and, when I get out of here, deal with that more. And I really, really hate all that because I just want to play games with my bud.
You're bringing up trauma from setting up the computer that Mike gave me. Mike gave me his old computer after he upgraded. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, this is a slight upgrade over what I have. This can play Elden Ring. Still haven't played Elden Ring. Sorry, Mike. And like, I couldn't get the fucking sound working. The sound would not come out of the goddamn speakers, and I couldn't fucking figure it out. And it was like a 3-day goddamn process of diagnosing it and trying to I mean, I like going into the BIOS and feeling like a fucking hacker.
Sure.
But at the same time, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just following the instructions that I'm like Googling, not knowing like if the whatever things I'm selecting is going to fucking, cause some crazy fucking thing to happen.
Yeah.
Or something like a critical function to just stop working.
Yeah.
I hate fucking doing, and that's my own tech support. It's why I never want to fucking deal with it again. It's why consoles are a thing,
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is why people want to have an Xbox over a PC, is so that they don't have to fucking deal with any of that.
Another terrible thing about consoles that I recently learned.
Yeah, because we hate consoles too.
If you have a PS5, you got a PlayStation 5, and you get an external hard drive for it so you can have more games. You can't run games off of the external hard drive.
So what's the point?
You transfer them.
You have to swap.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So you'd be like, I'm gonna play Call of Duty, this 200 gigabyte game, but it's way too big to be on my PS5. So you download it, and then you move it over here, and then you play whatever else you want. And when you want to play Call of Duty, you set aside a day to have them transfer back.
You might as well just download it off the fucking cloud or whatever.
I don't know. It's probably a little faster.
Ugh.
It's such a stupid way of doing that.
I'm the kind of person who doesn't keep like any games on Steam installed on my computer except for like the 2 I'm playing right now. Like I used to have like Dota permanently installed when I played Dota all the time.
Yeah, I don't do that. I have a ton of games that I have just installed. Like Fallout New Vegas is pretty much always installed on my computer. In the event that I want to go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, how do you feel about computers?
I also hate them. Thankfully, I
Good.
I don't.
Sending
I
games are not allowed here.
only have a 10-year-old laptop that is not for gaming at all. So it can't handle anything at all. Like I can barely play video games from like 2015 if at best. And it has almost no space on it. So I also don't have many like things installed at any given time. I did recently download one of those fan edits of the original Star Wars to like what it was like before the special editions because I wanted to watch Star Wars but without George Lucas's extra crap.
Right.
There's a
Yeah.
number of those projects out there. Some of them are wonderful. The one I watched was Project 4K77, um, which by the way was phenomenal. It looked fantastic. It sounded excellent, but the video file was 83 gigabytes.
Jeez.
So I
That's the
also
only
have an
thing you had on
external
your
hard
computer.
drive that holds Star Wars on it.
Goody. All right. Well, what else do we hate?
I hate the internet and how, like, all digital data is just this ephemeral fucking thing that can be stolen at any time, and it's all fucking out there. Like, did you hear about the big Discord data breach?
I heard about it. I kind of ignored it because I don't have Nitro.
It's like a fucking like 2 terabyte data breach. And I don't have Nitro either, but like at this point, like, what's the fucking point? If you've ever used the internet, if you ever put like your credit card information in there, that data has been stolen already. You know?
To a degree, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Internet security is an insanely annoying thing.
It doesn't actually exist as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it exists, but its existence is like unnoticeable because what's always happening at every single minute of the day is somebody on the side that's trying to breach your stuff is working to breach your stuff, and somebody on the side that's trying to stop people from doing that is trying to stop it. They're constantly clashing in ways we don't see or notice, and there are ways that the people over here have come up with to ensure that nothing happens that's everything's super secure.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't go with those because they're not as profitable, not as easy. An easy example of this is two-factor authentication.
Okay.
It's this thing that everyone assumes is going to be really secure and easy, where if you want to log into something, you have to get a notification on your phone.
Yeah, so it's something that annoys the crap out of me, but it's important for security, I assume. So if I want to say buy something on the Nintendo Switch Online store, then it has to me come up with a code. It texts my phone. Since I physically have my phone, it should be more secure, right?
No. So your phone number is incredibly accessible by almost anyone, and they can just, if someone is trying to hack you, they can just take it, use your code without your consent.
Right.
Yeah, it's not actually that secure. In fact, some cybersecurity specialists say it's one of the least secure ways to do it nowadays.
So literally all they need is your phone number.
They don't even need that, I don't think. I watched videos about this a while ago because I was curious as to. I think I was watching a lot of Linus Tech Tips, and they were going over this concept. And yeah, there's a lot of ways for bad actors to get access to your data that's coming to your phone. There's even ways for them to take your phone number, use it without your consent, without you even knowing. You don't get the message. It goes to them first, and then you get nothing.
Jesus fuck.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
I hate that.
Yeah, I hate that too. A lot of stuff I hate. I'm trying to think of more stuff I hate.
Well, okay, Alex, we were gonna start with you talking about an RPG. What RPG
No,
do you
no,
hate
no.
so much?
Don't you let the hate flow, all right? There's no order to this sort of thing.
I'm sorry, we wasted 40 fucking minutes trying to get this goddamn recording started. So maybe I'm just afraid we're not gonna fucking talk about all the different subjects.
If we ended up spending 2 hours just talking about how much you hate technology, that would be more than justified.
I'm transforming into an old man, and I hate that.
I'm doing everything in my power not to hate AI. Again.
I hate AI.
Yeah, but I
yeah,
don't
why
want to talk about
why are
it
you
at the
holding
same time.
back?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because we
well,
talked about it like 50 times.
We always fucking
that's
talk about it.
actually okay. Here's my another thing I hate. I hate discourse about AI. Like, not as much as
Yeah.
I hate AI. Or like, hold up. My hatred for AI is mostly just kind of an intellectual thing, but there's no fire in my heart to like get angry about it in the same way. But man, I hate the way people talk about it. Just like I want to chew my own neck off. I'm so fucking tired of it because I haven't heard anyone say a new thing about it in like 2.5 years at least. And I've
Yeah,
heard a
that's
fresh
fair.
take on it, but I just keep hearing the same things every single day. I want to bash my head against a wall.
So The thing is that, like, in online spaces, I hear the same sentiment over and over and over again, and it's mostly from people who know enough about AI to know what the problem is. And then I go into real life and I'll talk to a real life person who doesn't know anything about AI.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you have actually been fooled by all the fucking bullshit that is being claimed about AI. You actually believe this is a thinking artificial intelligence that can solve problems. I don't know how to begin re-educating you.
Yep.
Like, they're the people I'm like, I forget that they exist because I think, like, no one can be that stupid, right?
Yeah, well, it's not a question of stupidity; it's just ignorance.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
how do you fight against that level of ignorance when there's such a massive fucking campaign of misinformation?
The best way that I could possibly come up with is to create a really, really ridiculous video. Like, just create it. Actually, you know what? You do it. You go into like Sora AI, which is the one that does videos.
Okay.
And they do really realistic, close videos. You have that AI create a video of it murdering somebody, make it really close to legitimate, and then at the very end, make it obviously AI.
Mm-hmm.
And then you show them that video and you go, "This can happen to anybody. I did this in 5 minutes." And then they'll be like, "Oh, I think that might be an issue."
Yeah, but that's not the thing I'm trying to fight. Like, I'm not trying to get them to because they think that the problem with AI is that it's going to take over, like, fucking Skynet.
Oh yeah.
And,
Okay,
like, I
that's
don't know
what
how
you're
to
saying.
argue with those kinds of people.
Just say
I
you're right.
would
Just don't. Yeah, don't use it.
I would like for us to finally, like, the anti-AI crowd to rally around an alternate term than AI, because they're not AI. Many people have made this
yeah,
point
that's the.
that it's stupid that we ever let them get away with calling it AI. It's like when they made
Yeah.
hoverboards, they called them that, even though
Mhm.
there's nothing about them that is in any way related to hoverboards, but they just called them that and got away with it. And it's the same thing with, like,
Yep.
they're not AI. Some of them are large language models that it can apply if you're talking about ChatGPT, for example, but there's more going on than just that are related technologies that we need to have a good word for to make clear. Like, don't call this shit AI, because that's not what it is. AI has not yet been invented.
Trying to think, just trying to think of anything that would work.
Trying to come up with a solution. This isn't a.
We're
this
not
is a
qualified
podcast
for
about
this.
solutions. This is a podcast about.
Yeah, what are we
opinions
talking
people
about?
hate.
I
Don't be proactive.
I'm sorry.
Solution oriented.
We're here to
You're
hate.
right, guys. You guys, you're right. You're right.
In fact,
I'm
if you
the problem
come
at the
up-
moment. I have to get back to hatred.
If you came up with any suggestions, I would be obligated to hate them right out the gate, even if they were good.
You know what, guys? You got a good point. You got good heads on your shoulders. Fuck AI. Fuck AI. Fuck technology. Fuck this computer.
Fuck this stupid new phone game app that's attached to Reddit now. Do you
What?
ever use Reddit on your phone?
I occasionally, mostly by accident.
So I use the browser because I obviously refuse to use the Reddit app.
Yeah.
And they've recently made it so that the tab on the left side that you can choose from your, selected your subreddits that you're a member of and stuff.
Right.
Well, they first have a pull down tab above that, which is a bunch of fucking games that you can play through Reddit.
Okay.
And like I spent this morning playing this fucking annoying like clicker RPG. Like you play as like a little frog knight, and he just kills enemies, and you get coins to level up stats. It's an idle
idler.
game, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it's an idle game where you have to spend a lot of fucking attention to it. It's a classic fucking mobile experience. But every single quest, like any level, is created by making a post on a subreddit dedicated
Oh,
to this.
fuck that. No.
And
Fuck
that's
that.
that's how they generate
like looks
engagement.
Yeah.
Is like anyone who's playing the game, they get rewards when people play the levels that are created by their posts. So everyone's motivated to create lots and lots of posts on the subreddit for this game,
I
so
hate
that they can get
every,
more rewards for their game.
I hate that in every level. I can't stand any part of that. That's the worst thing.
I can't, every single time I use Reddit, it's like this stupid little addictive phone game is attached to it. And I have a huge problem with like game design that is first and foremost addictive and nothing else, because it's not hard to create. Like I see no artistry in that whatsoever.
Flappy Bird.
Yeah, well, not Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird was garbage, but it wasn't anything like
It was addictive. People played it.
I mean,
I feel like
the
that
reason why
that
Flappy
was
Bird
like
was
an
addictive, though, was because of the bizarre nature of the game. It wasn't just a Skinner box where it's just,
Mm.
tapping into
I think it
your
was
sense
incidentally
of randomness
addictive.
and
Your FOMO.
your survival instincts.
Yeah.
Flappy Bird is a weird one to criticize. Ugh.
So I have the Reddit app on my phone just because I thought that was the way that you did it way back when, and then by the time I found out it wasn't, they made it so that you couldn't use the other apps anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, God's dead, whatever. The only thing that sucks about the Reddit app for me is that every time I'm like on my phone and I'm like going through stuff and I'm like, I need to find this piece of information, look it up. It's a Reddit tab. I click the Reddit thing. It opens the Reddit app. I'm immediately annoyed because it opened another app. It didn't need to do that.
Yep.
And then I hit back, and it goes back to Reddit. It doesn't go back to my screen. It goes back to Reddit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I have to hit back again to get back to what I'm actually talking about. And I hate it. It's very minor. It's not really a big deal. Ultimately, it's not a huge thing, but it's just frustrating enough. And I do it just often enough.
You know what
There's
I hate
a lot
more
of
than
things-
computers? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Al.
I was gonna say there's a lot of things I
Persist.
hate about the Reddit app, but the foremost among them is that you can't do tabs. And I'm like, who the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
you're browsing Reddit, right? Like, this is the most basic functionality of using this website is that you want to open up a lot of tabs of the different links, and then you go through them. Am I wrong? Like, isn't that like the normal way to use Reddit? It's a link aggregate site, so you want to have all the links lined up. I don't know.
You gotta, as an old school Redditor, you gotta remember that like basic functionality on the website for a long fucking time was added through a really popular browser extension, not by, the fucking creators of the fucking website themselves. So like the
That's
ability to
true.
open up images and preview tabs of images and videos and stuff. Like that's something you have to get through a browser extension. Normally you'd have to click on the link and actually open it in a new window or new,
So
new
yeah,
page.
it would be an aggregate thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm a unique Reddit user because I almost never use it, and the only subreddit that I am attached to is the Twilight Imperium subreddit. No others. I unsubbed from every other one that it automatically does for your account when you start.
That's the right way
That's
to use
a
it.
smart move. I occasionally go onto the Metroid subreddit, and then I'm having a good time there for a couple of weeks until I get into like one argument with like one other user, and then it's like, okay, I can't do this anymore. The
Okay, I want to bring
psychological
up.
fucking effect of having arguments on Reddit.
I want to bring up something that I don't know if I hate
sense
any
a
particular.
Metroid topic.
No, don't worry. I don't know if I hate any particular part of this, but I think it's very funny, and I also want to continue laughing at Ben on podcast. So Ben posted onto the Metroid subreddit, an image of like a Metroid thing that was drawn by our sister, and he referred to her as my little sister because she is younger than him.
Oh, that.
But like
Yeah,
all the
she is
comments
my
were
little
like,
sister.
"Wow, your little sister's so talented," as though she was like a little girl. And like she's like 30. Like she's married, she owns a home. Like Ben, you can't call us your little siblings anymore. We're just your siblings.
You are my little siblings, damn it.
That's so fucking
And Ben
funny.
Ben didn't contradict them because you know what? That probably netted him a lot more upvotes.
I was hoping to get her some fucking engagement on her goddamn Kara profile.
Oh, that's good.
My sister happens to be a very talented artist for any of you watchers of this podcast. Listeners, watchers.
She'll be in the description probably.
I only ever watch this podcast on YouTube. I don't ever use Spotify. By the way, our podcast is on Spotify.
Yeah, if you didn't know. Hi, Elijah. Hope you're having a good day at work. I know he isn't. More things I hate. Actually, I don't have anything. I really want to hear about this RPG.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. So there's an RPG I hate called Toon, the cartoon RPG.
Toon. Toon?
Correct. Toon is published by Steve Jackson Games. They're probably going to come out with a new printing, I would say edition, but printing relatively soon. But it was first made in 1984, literally 1984. And it
Jesus.
was designed by two guys, one named Greg Kostikian and the other Warren Spector. You can look them up. They are quite prolific.
Warren Spector You mean the guy from Sierra Games worked on Ultima, worked on Deus Ex, shit like that?
Yeah, and Thief and
Okay,
System
okay,
Shock. Yeah, that guy. Um,
Oh,
okay.
cool.
Greg Kostikian also has some genuine credits to his name. He made Paranoia, which is an RPG I love. He made the original Star Wars RPG, which is well regarded. I have thoughts, but whatever. Um,
I
and
enjoyed
then
what he's
one of
made.
Did you
oh,
play it?
not that one. That
Yeah.
is not the original one.
Oh, not that one. Oh, then no.
No, there's a
It's not
Star Wars
one.
RPG from the 1980s that is much simpler than that. Um, I don't want to get distracted talking about Star Wars. That's a dangerous path. Sorry.
This is a hater episode.
Yeah, we did that
But I
last
don't
time.
want to
Like
succumb to the
hate
dark
both
side.
of you.
Okay, so Toon
I
is
hate
an
that you said that.
RPG.
I do hate that he.
Toon is an RPG where you play as cartoon characters, as though you were like trying to do an RPG adaptation of Looney Tunes, which sounds like a
Yeah,
great
Color me
premise, right?
surprised. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, actually it does.
Yeah, it does.
Um, and my whole life, like as long as I've been into RPGs, it is one of those handful that I've always heard about. Like, that's not uncommon that most RPG fans have at least familiar with in passing. It's just like, yeah, you
Right.
know, you got your Dungeons and Dragons, you got your Pathfinder, you got your like Vampire the Masquerade, and you know, just one of those will be Toon. And people always refer to it as this example of a great instance of a game where the difference in mechanics has a huge impact on how different the gameplay experience is. So, you know, if you want to convey to people that like not everything has to be like D&D, take Toon for example. It's a game where you play as cartoons, and so all the mechanics are about simulating like cartoon physics instead and cartoon logic, you know?
Makes
And
Yeah.
sense.
again, this sounds like a great promise.
I want to
They're
hit somebody with the
liars.
head with a big hammer. Oh.
Oh,
They're all lying. Everyone, they lied about what this game is.
okay.
This game is Dungeons and Dragons. It's insane. In fact, it's just D&D, and it's really upsetting because, like, if you look up like just the character sheet and you're reading it, you're like, this is just Dungeons and Dragons. What the fuck? Like, you can play as a cartoon rabbit, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, that's just aesthetic. It's still a game where, like, if there's a thing that you're doing where there's a risk you might fail and there's consequences, you roll dice and you add a modifier. You choose, you know, like your species and your skills, and those give you bonuses. You have
Okay.
hit points. Most of the game is about equipment management and combat, where you're rolling to hit someone, and then you roll an amount of damage based on the weapon you used. And if you do enough, then they are defeated once they reduce their hit points to zero. Like this is just D&D, right?
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
trying
you're
to figure
sounding
out
it.
how do you do a Bugs Bunny?
Yeah, how do you
So-
yuck?
So there's like one main mechanic that really is different, and that is if your hit points are reduced to zero, then you aren't permanently dead. Instead, you're timed out for one, I think it's like 3 real life minutes, like you start a timer that you're not playing because your
Okay.
character has been, you know, like their fucking
Knocked
face
out.
was blown like into like soot and stuff because I got hit in the
It's
face
got
with like a
the
big
Tweety
blunderbuss.
birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blew his beak off to the other side of his head.
So instead of death, you have a 3 minute timeout where you're not playing, and then you come back into it, and that's it. Like that's like the one cartoon logic rule in the whole game. And don't get me wrong, that does make a pretty substantial difference, I can imagine, in practice from D&D. But it is still
Sure.
a game about gathering equipment and using it to do combat to reduce another character's hit points to zero. Like that's all it's about.
What?
I don't see my biggest issue is when you first described this. In my head, I'm imagining a million different ways they can do a million different things.
Yeah.
Like death, for example. The only way you do death in a cartoon-based RPG is that you're going up to heaven, your ghost is going up to heaven, and the rest of your party now has to find your ghost and grab it and put it back in. That's the only way that can work.
Or they go to hell,
Or
but then
you
you
go
make a
to
deal with
hell.
the devil.
Yes. You Cuphead.
You do a Cuphead.
Some of the skills in the game, like you read through the list of skills. First of all, I think it's a little weird that there are skills. Like again, we're just copying the design of Dungeons and Dragons, but the skills are D&D
I think
things.
skills
I'm gonna
make more. Like
I'm
what?
gonna read you the skills. They include
Oh,
break down door, climb, throw, dodge, drive vehicle, fire gun, jump, ride, run, swim, hide or spot hidden things, identify dangerous thing, sleight of hand, sneak, set trap, disarm trap. I'm like, this is just
this
these
is
are things
Okay,
used for
okay.
dungeon crawling, right?
Control F search right now. Is one of those skills disguise?
No, which
So
is weird
Bugs
because that's
Bunny's
something
fucking
Bugs.
shtick you can't do in this game.
Okay, actually, hold on. No, no, no. You said it. Okay, actually, Ben, I got to give credit to the game for two things just there. In addition to skills, you can also at character creation pick one or more shticks, and that is what that mechanic is called. Is a shtick,
ah
and
okay.
one of those is disguise. One of those is disguise. Um, but the other ones are things like detect item, bag of many things, teleport,
Dude.
and I'm like, those are D&D spells. Like, bag of many things is a magic item in D&D, right? Like, detect magic item. Like, what do you? That's a dungeon crawling spell. I don't. How much
I mean,
dungeon crawling are
I
you
think
expecting to do in this?
I guess what I'm fucking confused by is how do you make an adventure for this game? What does that look like?
yeah,
So they have a
cuz like
sample adventure, which is the Cartoon Olympics, so that you're supposed to be doing like a bunch of athletic challenges and
like
competition with one
Goofy.
another. Right. It's a tried and true cartoon scenario where like they're doing like sports kinds of things. But it's mostly, I think they had to choose that because this game is mostly about like physical feats and athleticism and combat and stuff, you know?
Yeah, but that's not the fucking point.
You know what
I'm
I
so
would include
disappointed.
if I were making a cartoon game, I'd include inventory rules for simulating hammer space. Why doesn't this game have it? It doesn't. Instead, you have a certain limited amount of inventory space that you're meticulously keeping track of. I'm like, if ever there was a game where you could hand wave an abstract inventory into something like hammer space, why the fuck wouldn't it be this?
I think like one thing would be the bag of many things, right? I think that kind of makes sense within the context of a cartoon to a degree. But two changes that I would want to make. One is that it's not a bag, it's pants, because it's got to be pants.
It's their pocket. Yeah, they literally
Pockets,
yank it
yeah.
out of their pocket, or if it's like a busty female cartoon character, they pulled it out of their bra.
Exactly. And the other thing is that you should have like control over three things that's in there at any given time, but there's like 500
Mhm.
things in there, and every time you need to reach in there, you roll.
Yeah, yeah, that would be really good.
And you can do it. You can
Or
do like 5 rolls in a row, really quick in succession. Just take stuff out, and you might be able to get the thing that you're supposed to get. But you will
or
always take something
if
out that's not
if
supposed to be in there that you didn't put in.
it's something
if
that's
you're
just
Donald
absurdly too big, too, like an entire ladder.
or if you're Donald Duck, you just fill it with flutes and nothing but flutes, just hundreds of flutes. It is one of my
Oh
all-time
god.
favorite cartoon moments is when he keeps pulling out flutes until they grab him by the legs and they start shaking him upside down and just hundreds of flutes come out.
For our
And I'm like,
listeners,
why
that
can't you
is a
simulate
specific.
even that gag in this game?
That's a specific Disney cartoon. I think it's the band.
I don't
The
remember it.
The band concert, yeah.
the band
I
concert.
think
Yeah,
that's
it's
it.
the one where Mickey is a conductor for a concert in the park, and they're playing William Tell's Overture, and fucking Donald Duck just keeps on coming over with his flute and playing Turkey in the Straw.
Actually, you know what would be a really good like one-to-one similar to this as an RPG that I think would that does kind of this but way better? The Worldwide Wrestling game.
Thank you. I was going to fucking bring it up because I'm like, I've heard about Worldwide Wrestling, and I know how Powered by the Apocalypse game works. Why isn't it that?
That
Hmm.
yeah,
Like,
that's
why
kind
isn't
of like,
Toon
perfect
the first
almost.
Powered by the Apocalypse style game? Like, how could they not come up with that?
I don't know because you're right. It would be perfect. I would argue that like if you're doing a cartoon logic, then the fundamental rationale of the dice roll in D&D doesn't fit with cartoon logic because that is a mechanic designed to emulate the element of chance that is part of like basic cause and effect and risk. You know, like can you
Yeah.
apply your skill sufficiently to accomplish this task or else there's consequences? And like that's just not the logic on which cartoons operate. So that wouldn't make any sense. But in World Wide Wrestling, the basic mechanic of like fighting is just fucking describe some goofy ass sequence of fight moves, right? It already
Yep.
is slapstick most of the time. Ryan literally played as a cartoon character when we played World Wide Wrestling.
I was Goofy.
You played as Goofy. Wait, have we ever talked about Worldwide Wrestling on this podcast?
No, it's I think it was on my list of games that I offered to you guys if like to pick from for what I would talk about on the show. But I wouldn't want it on
Yeah,
a hater
we
episode because I like that game.
no. No.
We'll have to remember to talk about it on a later episode, but for our listeners, Worldwide Wrestling is an RPG that both Giger, Ryan, and Alex have actually played. And
Yeah.
Alex, are you still running a Worldwide Wrestling campaign as
Yep.
well?
I have
As a
a
DM?
session on Sunday.
Yeah. I wasn't as into it, but I don't think it's a bad game on any stretch.
It definitely sounds like it would make for a better cartoon game than I'm so fucking disappointed in Warren Spector.
Yeah.
Like, so it sounds like to me they're like, okay, we're just gonna create a new RPG and we're gonna pick a theme for it, and we picked cartoons, and they just took D&D and they hacked it. And that's exactly like what me as a kid would have done when I was first introduced to Dungeons and Dragons and RPGs and homebrew stuff.
Yeah.
Is you take D&D because it's the framework that you already know, and you just adjust it to be in space or to be about pirates or to be about whatever thing you want it to be about. And
Yeah.
when they chose cartoon, they just failed to understand that this fundamentally does not work with the genre that they chose. Like, the system is incompatible, I would say, to a certain
I could
extent.
say I think there's some leeway to the fact that it's very old, that it came out in the 80s. Only because at that period there wasn't like a lot of competition or like nuance, at least in that specific field.
Well, it doesn't sound like it was they. I for some reason I'm now fixated on this being Warren
No,
Spector's fault.
I blame Greg Kostikian actually. Like
Okay.
I think it's more his fault. Um, I, I know at least one employee of Steve Jackson Games who has alluded to this being his fault. Um, and and the thing is, I also tried reading his book about game design. Uh, which I'm drawing a blank on what it's fucking called now. Um, it's like a really fucking generic name as well. And I was not impressed with his analysis. Um, so I don't know. Yeah, like I think it's his fault. Spectre is in the clear as far as I'm concerned. He made Deus Ex. He's fine.
I mean, yeah, Warren Spector is kind of like a legendary creator.
I'll blame that person for the rest of my life forever. Yeah.
But here's the thing: is that like I know what you mean, Ryan. That like it's old, and there are a lot more games back then that were just D&D, but with a handful of things changed. That definitely does describe a
Mhm.
lot of early RPG design. But this is literally 1984, and by this point, like even just Greg Kostikian and Steve Jackson Games had already made multiple other games that were far more different from D&D than this, like Paranoia and the original Star
Okay.
Wars RPG. So I just like no, there's no excuse. Like
I figured I was like that was my immediate thought, but I was like, I know that if I'm wrong here, one of these two will correct me.
Then the next thing that bothers me is then the other thing that you brought up is you'll always have like fans, RPG people on like blogs and forums list Toon as a game that significantly changes on D&D when it doesn't. How does that happen? What is this phenomenon?
I'm like, were people really so impressed by the you have a 3-minute timeout instead of death mechanic like for decades that they were like, that's right, game changer right there, fucking genius game design.
Like, as long as we're talking about things we hate, like I hate how there is no unified RPG community, how it just seems to be absolutely fucking schizophrenic with everyone having wildly different ideas
Of what?
on
Yeah.
what makes RPGs good, how they're even played, like what parts of them are fun, like what are the good ones, what makes it fair. It's like you go on to the Pathfinder subreddit, and people who enjoy Pathfinder, they're operating in this weird fucking headspace that doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
We have two examples in our friend group.
Let's do this.
Okay, we have Mike Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Mike Santa Barbara is a really great guy. I love him to death. He loves mechanics. It's
Yeah.
his favorite thing. He is a min-maxer to no end. When I played a D&D game with him, him and the other people there all had characters that could do ridiculous damage within one turn, and I was just sort of there also. I did not because I don't play that way at all.
No, you make okay. The last time I played an RPG with Ryan, it was one that Alex was DMing.
Yep.
And this was a long time ago. We did like half a session. We never even made any progress. But your fucking character is still the thing I remember about it, because you played as an orphan child.
Yes.
Or no, you actually played as parents too.
To an orphan child.
The parents.
Oh my God.
The parents were killed, and then
I forgot
your
about
child
this.
became an orphan.
Yes.
But like the joke was that like horrible things just kept on happening to this kid over and over again.
Yeah.
He was just really unlucky, and like all this horrible tragedy kept on happening, and it was played up as a joke, and it was the
Hold up,
funniest
no.
fucking thing ever.
It's his fault. If I recall correctly, this was a funnel, is what I was running. And so, for our
Yes.
audience who is not familiar, a funnel is an idea that was created by the game Dungeon Crawl Classics, published by Goodman Games, but is easily stealable for all kinds of other games. In Dungeon Crawl Classics, their idea was character creation sucks and it's boring and it takes a while. And you don't get to start playing the game until after everyone's already done with character creation. What if instead you could go straight into the game? Instead, everybody's going to generate not one level 1 adventurer, but instead 3 or 4 level 0 schmucks, just like peasants who've been completely randomly generated. Their stats are dog shit. Their equipment is dog shit. And you're going to run them through a scenario designed to kill 90% of them. So whoever comes out the other end alive, they get promoted into being a level 1 adventurer, right? That's going to be your character.
It's a very fun
and I
idea.
think, yeah, it's awesome. It's so fun. And that's why it's called a funnel, is because you start with this big pool of peasants and you just whittle it down into a tiny group of horribly traumatized peasants who are now forever set on the path of adventure. And Ryan said, "Can my 3 characters be a family?" And I told him, like, you have to expect most of them are going to die. Like, that's the point of the scenario.
So, and not to criticize Mike, because I do love Mike.
Oh, yeah.
But my argument will always be, like, this style of playing is something that can only happen in RPGs. You don't have that kind of freedom of creativity in a video game. Whereas, like, mastering mechanics is what a video game is. So why do you want this thing to be that when it'll never be as good? And why are you ignoring the thing that this thing is amazing at? I mean, Mike doesn't ignore it.
No,
Mike does not ignore it. I do not want to criticize Mike in the wrong way.
He does not. He tries very hard to RP. It's not always easy because sometimes if who we're playing with be an issue, but he definitely does try.
Yeah, and then the thing is, like, they made a game for Mike. It's called Lancer.
They did.
So, so no shade to Mike. Like, obviously,
no
there's
shade.
good RPGs that are designed specifically for him in mind. And
On the flip side, we've got Nathan.
on the flip side, you have Nathan.
Nathan hates Dungeons and Dragons entirely. He can't stand that game. And the reason is because the combat is the worst thing ever. He hates that combat system so much.
It's just move forward, roll, and attack.
Yeah,
Choose
well, it's just
spells.
Okay.
it's that and it takes forever.
If you guys wanted to hate on
Stand
Dungeons
for
and
that?
Dragons for the hater episode, you shouldn't have invited me. I'm a horrible D&D apologist. I'm infamous for
Well,
it.
okay. I don't want to hate on D&D, but if we hate on anything related to D&D, it's got to be Wizards of the Coast, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was just reminded of something like a game design principle that I really, really hate. And I was thinking of like making a rant about it, but like I also am not educated enough on the topic. But who's the guy who created Magic the Gathering? What's his name?
I have
Thank you for
absolutely
googling that for me, Alex. You can see
no
him
idea.
I'm
on the
like,
way on
it
the screen.
should be in the top of my brain, and it's Richard Garfield.
Richard Garfield. Okay, so Richard
Gotcha.
Garfield came up with like this idea for game design where he identifies player types and how
Okay.
to like create for them, and they're like Spike and Jim and Bob or something like that. And like
It's not the
that's not-
names. Sorry, go ahead.
one of them's Spike.
Yeah,
One
it
of them
is.
is Spike. I know that because like what there's like
Oh
it's-
wait, Mike just told me about this.
yeah, Mike. It's something
Okay.
that like Magic the Gathering players like they hear it and they're like, yes, that makes so much sense. That's me. But the thing is that he created it from studying Magic the Gathering players.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, the people who already like Magic the Gathering. My big issue with like identifying these player types is that there are player types that he just never identified, and then they're just not part of the discussion anymore. And then he says, "This is how you make a good game," and you're only making games for like these three player types, and everyone else is just like, "This isn't fun for me. Like, I don't understand how this is supposed to be fun." I don't think that's a problem for Magic the Gathering, because
No.
obviously Magic the Gathering has its like audience that fucking adores that game. But like Richard Garfield hasn't been able to fucking make a game since Magic the Gathering. Like, do you remember Artifact?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck was that shit show?
I never played it. I just know about it.
And then when you take those design principles and you take them outside of Magic the Gathering and you add them to something else, in particular, Dungeons and Dragons, which should not operate like Magic the Gathering. It's a completely different concept.
Actually, I want to run with it. I'm gonna explain what the three are, and I think it'll be immediately evident why it does not apply to so many games, especially just like RPGs like D&D. They internally they call them the psychographic profiles of the players. I think they like did a study on a bunch of players, like a big expansive one after Magic had already been out for a few years. And the three archetypes they arrived at, they called Timmy, Johnny, and Spike.
I knew Spike was one of them. Timmy, Johnny, and Spike.
Timmy is characterized by their tendency to just use the biggest creatures and cast the biggest spells. They just like large, exciting things happening. All they're there for is just like, yes, exactly, yeah. The stereotypical Timmy is the little kid player. That's why they're called, Timmy. Like little Timmy just wants to see like the big explosion. They may not even care if they win or lose. Whereas Johnny is the one who's all about the power gaming, min-maxing, complex, like trying to get all the combos and everything.
Mike.
Except like specifically they're like a tinkerer. They want to find these like exploits in the mechanics and stuff and like kind of theory craft and everything, right? They might be interested in niche cards or ones that are even considered to be bad, but they want to see if they can do something with them. They're like an engineer, And then Spike is the most like ruthlessly focused on competitive, like I just want to win as much as possible. Like they're trying to make like follow the metagame and make something that is like unbeatable. And all they care about is if they win or lose, no matter how cheesy it is.
I don't have anybody I can compare that to. I don't know people like that really.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not Mike, because even though Mike cares about winning, he also cares way more about
crafting and theory.
But we can identify Mike as being one of those players.
I'm like maybe more of a Johnny since he likes just like seeing how all the mechanics work together and stuff. But I'm like, all of these still fundamentally assume that you're playing a competitive and challenge-oriented experience, right? Where like there's the question of winning or losing is relevant at all. And for a lot of people, that isn't a part of how they play D&D. So like it just doesn't make sense if you're bringing any of these mindsets to it,
Yeah, but like the way Magic the Gathering design has affected D&D, like was it either you or Sam first explained to me the idea of I can't remember what the exact term is, but like a purposely bad choice. Like you open up a booster pack of cards, and some of these cards are going to be better than others, and
So this is a common misconception, sort of. There was an essay written by Monty Cook, who was the lead or one of the three lead guys who made 3rd edition D&D. He's a very controversial RPG designer, and he wrote an essay called Ivory Tower Game Design. And nobody's ever fucking read this essay except for me. Everyone always misquotes it and always misunderstands what he argued. And so I am always trying to defend Monty Cook.
I've never read it.
So,
I read it.
So what he said was that what everyone thinks he was saying was, and again, the wrong, was that in Magic the Gathering, they have things called Timmy cards, which are cards that look cool but aren't actually that good. They seem powerful if you don't really know much about the metagame, but they don't synergize well. They don't like play into good combos or anything. They just have like one single big powerful effect at one time, but it's actually like way too expensive to be worth it. Timmy cards, right? Things that make the Timmies of the player base happy. And the reason that Magic would have Timmy cards is because that also then rewards the Johnnies and the Spikes by giving them something to master, right? If they can figure out which cards are bad and which cards are good, that gives them the feeling of like personal satisfaction just for having identified how to be good at Magic the Gathering. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, they get to feel smart in being able to identify the actual strength of these complex mechanics.
And he called it Ivory
I
Tower
was,
game design because they get to, be snobby and pretentious up atop their ivory towers, knowing that they are superior at Magic the Gathering than everyone else. Um,
I was gonna give an example,
Okay.
but
yeah,
I can't find it.
Oh.
all right.
Yeah, sorry.
Um,
I
so
hate that.
Yeah.
he had said that they had a similar idea in third edition D&D, and what he tried to make clear was that they didn't actually have any character options, feats, classes, whatever, that were intentionally bad in the way a Timmy card is, but rather that all of them have a specific time and place under which they would be good to use, but they're not going
As
to tell you what that is. So, like,
Yeah.
y- you are still supposed to have the Johnny Spike experience of reading between the lines and parsing out the mechanics and figuring out, oh, okay, these are the circumstances why this feat would be good. Instead of just thinking like, oh, this is good and this is bad. His idea was, part of the experience of mastering the game is that we don't tell you what's good and bad. You get to figure that out for yourself. And that was inspired by Magic the Gathering. Um,
But
this was a
then,
mistake.
yeah, okay, I'm gonna bring up the obvious criticism then. Okay, because thank you for clarifying. Because I was oh, you made some decisions bad, so you can't choose certain character options. But that's not the problem. The problem is that like they're good in certain circumstances, and you have to figure out what those circumstances are. Like I've read through the feat list. One, that's not true. Some of them are just bad. Some of them are just like way too useful in way too many situations. But then there's just also the identifying problem of how the fuck are you supposed to design for as open a uh open of a game place as D&D? Like what you do in a D&D adventure could be anything.
Yeah.
You
It's
can limit
it's
your
so
scope to just
weird.
dungeon crawls, but even then, that is a massive design space, you know?
It's so weird when you hear players talking about like, making their theory crafting build guides for D&D and they're ranking different options you can take, different spells, and they're like, this one's super useful, this one you're never
Mm-hmm.
going to use. And I was always like, how do you know? Like, you don't know what my dungeon master has for their campaign. Like, doesn't it depend? I don't know. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. In a lot of games you play, the rogue's thieves can't ability, you're never going to use it. It's just flavor. But like, you could write an entire adventure based around like exploring the criminal underworld and having to like make like pass along secret messages with all of these other rogues and thieves and stuff, in which case it would be super useful. Like, it depends. I don't know what they
Yeah.
Yeah.
mean.
And, like, and it's to kind of attach to that idea, it's so many people. If there's one criticism I have towards, like, people in the D&D community, and just RPG community, but Dungeons and Dragons in particular, they're the ones that offend me the most.
Mm-hmm.
It's that they just completely are blind to the DIY aspect of RPG.
Yes, dude. The amount. Okay, I don't want to get too political, so I'm not going to.
Too political.
But the amount of people who complain about changes in D&D, about how Wizards of the Coast will change Dungeons and Dragons,
Mm-hmm.
blow me away. You can ignore literally everything you don't like. There's not a single rule in the game you have to follow if you don't want to. Now, you should, to some, but if you want orcs to be evil, you can have orcs to be evil. It's fine.
There is a specific creator I want to kind of call out. As you may know, one of our favorite YouTubers, my favorite YouTubers, is now making a channel based on RPGs specifically. I'm talking about
Quinn's Quest.
Wait, don't
We
start
talked
beef
about
with
it
Quins.
last time.
Wait, I gotta go.
I'm not trying to start beef between Alex and Quins, but this is my beef. This is my personal beef with Quins. but he is the kind of like person who approaches RPGs as like holistic products that you play out of the box, rules as written, no fucking modifications, no like, no interjecting of your own sensibilities into the game. And when he now reviews like all these really cool indie RPGs and stuff, but he doesn't comprehend like what certain games are doing versus what other games are doing, because he's just playing everything like he would Vampire the Masquerade, In particular, there was he had like a kind of offhand comment in one video where he was just like he shit on a bunch of frankly really good indie RPGs for mostly being like generic D&D clones, I say generic, but like,
I think I've seen this clip on Alex's blog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and, like,
I did write a blog
like,
post
all
about
of
this.
these RPGs. Yeah, he did write a blog post about this specifically. That's why I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to bring up beef between Alex and Quinn's.
But I agree. Like
I don't know.
He didn't recognize. I felt that the appeal of all of these different indie old school games that are in some way all kind of just variations of D&D is that each of them was one individual person's personal vision of like how they would want to do D&D and what things they would put into it and what things they'd take out and whatnot. And honestly, if you were to look at like those games, you might find yourself valuing all of them and playing none of them because ultimately you decide I should make my own one, and that's the best part, right? And he's like, no, he wants to buy like a finished, complete product that you can play right out of the box exactly how it is, and value it entirely based off of the experience it presents. Yeah, exactly.
And then there's the other side of it where it's like, it's not just a complete game, but the only thing that matters is the officially printed material for it. Like all the D&D supplement books.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, but like the million of fucking books that were printed for 3.5 edition and 4th edition to supplement Dungeons & Dragons are garbage compared to, 100 different heartthrob RPGs created by various independent creators, where I actually do want to take elements from every single one of those,
Yeah.
Whereas, like, random fucking book about dragons from Dungeons & Dragons, I'm like, okay, well, you've ruined dragons, thanks for that. Now this is how a certain group of D&D players are going to be like, no, this is what dragons are like. Wizards of the Coast said so. And I'm like, well, you can make dragons however you want. It's your game. That's the joy of RPGs.
Yeah.
There's this very weird phenomenon where people on the 5e D&D subreddit will ask questions about like, does this work like this, or can I do this? And they're not asking for clarifications on how mechanics function. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's lots of times people do that too. But people will ask about like literally like something like, what's the history of dragons? Like how do they work? And it's like that's a lore question. Like you can just decide that for yourself. Like, do you think that there's like a canon that you have to confirm with? I don't like what?
Well, they do. A lot of people do, and it frustrates the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Like when I was very, very first introduced to Dungeons & Dragons, like one of the first controversial concepts that was introduced to me that I immediately took umbrage was devils and demons. You have two different things. One is chaotic evil, the other one is lawful evil. Either you find that interesting or you don't. But to me, I'm like, I just want demons. I don't want to fucking overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Like devils, demons, you want to call them whatever they are. They're evil things. I don't want to have to, write the Blood War into my own campaign setting. But some people are like, no, that's how D&D works. When you look at the monster manual, it says CE or LE next to their stat block. That means they're either chaotic evil or lawful evil, and that makes them either a demon or a devil. That's how it works. What's a succubus? Well, in this version, it's a demon, and in this other game, it's a devil. We keep on changing it back and forth because we can't fucking make up our minds because it doesn't actually matter.
No. It's all thanks to what's the most popular D&D game everyone talks about?
What do you?
The most
Baldur's
popular
Gate 3?
show where you watch people play D&D.
No, Critical
Matt
Role.
Mercer. Yeah.
It's older than Critical Role, but fuck Critical Role.
I'm not saying fuck Critical Role. I think the people there are cool. It's just like
I'm sure they are, but okay.
But like that, they're what made D&D the most popular thing it's ever been.
Critical Role and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. It's true.
Yeah.
Yes,
Even though they
I
don't
may
play
have
D&D
just
anymore.
I may have just paraphrased the Unabomber Manifesto, but I stand by that statement.
Don't we all? Haven't we all been there? I have a thing that I hate about D&D that's kind of abstract that
Okay.
I've always kind of hated. I hate how spells work.
Yeah.
Every single way, it's not like specific to D&D. I just hate the way that people make spells because I think of it in the same way that like the anime Free Run would have it be.
Okay.
In that series, imagination is the most important aspect of spell casting. If you can think of a thing, if you believe a thing works a specific way, it does that because that's how magic is supposed to do. It fills in that gap of your belief with reality, and that's sort of how I want spells to work in D&D, and it's not how it works. In Dungeons & Dragons specifically, there's a very long list of spells, all of which have varying uses at varying times, and you can argue over that. But I fucking hate how there's this long list, and it's like you have to do this specific one if you want this thing to happen. And I would prefer it if it was more imaginative, if it was more like you can make a beam of light, but you don't have to like think about it. You can just kind of do it, and that'll use up magic, but that's about it.
The
The other thing, that I was thinking on the flip side is I also really hate that magic is dealt with intelligence often. I don't think magic should be a question of intelligence. I think it should actually be the opposite. I think the more you should know about it and understand about the world, the worse you should be at magic.
That's fine.
Because the better you understand how physics works, the less you can alter it within the magical context.
Well,
So
then-
wait,
okay,
you
well,
want
then
magic to operate on like an 8-bit theater rationale where like if you can recognize that something logically shouldn't be possible, that it suddenly isn't anymore, and so like magic
Exactly.
operates off of stupidity, like it is powered by ignorance of how things work. Because you can trick yourself
10
into
points
believing
for-
something that doesn't make sense.
10 points for the obscure dated reference.
Sorry, I just
8-bit theater.
That's what I think would be a better system. I think it'd be more fun.
Then what does intelligence do? Because the intelligence stat governs everything
Okay,
that the player is supposed to be the one figuring out.
You know what I hate the most of all? I hate ability scores. I hate them. I am opposed to them, and yeah, I don't think I'm not just talking about D&D's ability scores. That's like a frequent target.
No.
It's low-hanging fruit. Everybody's always complaining about the classic 6 D&D attributes. But I hate the entire
I've never
idea.
seen a better system.
Well, here's my thing. I can
A
name you
better
lots of
ability
games.
score system.
Right. I can name lots of games that just don't have character attributes. Like you don't get a list of like stats that you have. You just roll dice. If there's something that's risky.
Yep.
And if you have a thing that would advantage you, then you might get a bonus. If you have a thing that would disadvantage you, you get a penalty. But you don't need like an objective list of here are all of the categories that every dice roll will always have to be like placed into, right? Because no matter what you do, no matter what list of attributes you make, there's always going to be some gaps, or there's going to be some overlap, or there's going to be some ambiguity. Some of them are going to be just more frequently applicable than others, and it's weird, right? Like constitution is a weird attribute. Intelligence and wisdom are weird attributes. Why do we even have them at all? You know what game doesn't have them? Labyrinth, the adventure game. You don't have any. No attributes. Slug Blaster doesn't have any. Fiasco doesn't have any. Og, Dread, Alice is missing. Fate, Yeshiva's Bed and Breakfast. Like these games just don't have attributes, right? And
Tricks
you don't
and
even
treats.
miss them. Tricks and treats. You don't have attributes.
You don't. I was also going to point that out.
Got the plug.
Can't wait to do that later.
I can't wait for Nathan to send me his
Forgetting.
updated character information. He hasn't yet.
Oh, well, you have to bother him. He's probably at work or he's not at work. It's hard to tell with him.
Get on that, Nathan.
Nathan's not watching the podcast.
I mean,
we're
Nathan's-
live right now. There's no way he's gonna get that in time for tonight.
Yeah.
This is gonna go out. This recording is actually gonna be put on the internet 3 days from now.
Yep. I can't
It'll be
wait.
a little bit too late. Oh,
I have my
Does
character
any-
set up. I already sent it to him.
Does anybody have any hatreds they'd like to share with the group?
do we want to stick to D&D stuff? Because I can move on to the discussion of people's obsession with taxonomy. Oh, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to get into that.
He got so annoyed when you said that.
For
It's
our
just-
listeners,
it bums
he
me
just
out.
made his face.
I mean, I don't disagree.
Okay, I
we
love
we
Monster
struck
Hunter
gold
games.
here. Just hating D&D things. We did strike gold. We could probably fuel another 2 hours of hatred just talking about it. Ben, if you'd like to start with
I'm
taxonomy.
sticking the things that you're relevant. Okay, I haven't talked about Nintendo yet.
We
Like,
can
that's the
let's
thing.
move on to Nintendo because I want to hate Nintendo a little bit more.
I mean, okay, I almost feel like there's this part of me that feels like ever since Toru Iwata died and the Switch became a major success, that everything's been shitty. That they've
Yep.
just been crappy and greedy, and
Correct.
they are, for the most part, what everyone kind of always accused them of. Because, like, Nintendo's always had a hate-dom to go
Mhm.
with that fandom, probably because that's what happens when you are the top dog for as long as they were during the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, do you know the story behind the Sega Genesis?
I don't remember it.
I mean, like, I used to hate on Sega because I grew up as an early 2000s kid listening to people from the 90s talk on the internet about video games. And, like, the console wars were actually very fun back when it was between Nintendo and Sega. Because Nintendo was the dominant, controller of the industry, and Sega were the underdogs that were, like, just fucking shamelessly punching, like, right down at Nintendo, making fun of them right to their fucking faces, blatantly, like, calling them out on, like, shitty business practices and stuff like that. Like, the advertising campaigns that came out of Sega were so fucking entertaining that, like, we can still watch commercials of, like, and just be entertained by them, you know? And, where the fuck was I going with any of this?
To Nintendo hatred?
Nintendo, yeah. I think that's where the hatred comes from, though. It's like this old, like, 90s fucking nostalgia. And then it's like, why is Nintendo still relevant? Other video game companies make AAA video games, and Nintendo keeps on getting treated like they make, like, actual video games compared to them, you know?
Okay.
Like, when was the last time Nintendo made a big, relevant AAA video game that was definitely the Game of the Year contender?
Honestly.
Tears of the Kingdom?
You say that, but was it actually that year, or was it, the special Nintendo category that was set aside for Nintendo?
Well, if we're talking
while a
like-
bunch of big AAA games like God of War or The Last of Us or whatever was being put out on Sony.
If we're talking the actual Game Awards, then that's not like nothing. But
actual
if we're talking
Game Awards, I'm talking about like the fucking like the public
popular
consciousness, how people
consensus,
think about
yeah.
it, you know?
oh, actually,
I was gonna
Tears of the
say-
Kingdom.
Yeah.
I said Tears
Yeah.
of the Kingdom, but at the same time, I do know a lot of people who are like, it's just Breath of the Wild DLC.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but let's rewind it then. Breath of the Wild, because everyone made a huge deal about Breath of the Wild, but it also had this very, very fucking vocal hate-dom, where people are like, why the fuck do people, like, the only reason people care about this game is because it's made by Nintendo.
yeah,
And they were not completely wrong. They're not.
there's parts. There's like the other things that hate in that game would be like the weapon degradation. Everybody hated that at the time. Everybody hated the way that weather worked in comparison to the stamina.
Yeah, well, a
There's a
lot of the
whole lot of
haters,
that.
I felt, were, like, failing to understand what the actual innovations that Breath of the Wild was making to the open world genre.
Because it did.
Because it did, which kind of
Yeah.
changed how that genre worked to a certain extent. But, are you
I can
about to
say
something?
for my own part, because I don't like open world games. I always fizzle out after literally just a few hours. Like they can't maintain my interest. Breath of the Wild I played for a good like 50, 60 hours, which for me is a lot. Like that's like the most I've played any one video game in the last like decade of my life. So it had to have been doing something right. And like yeah, when I played it, within a couple days I had a huge list of complaints about it. But I'm like, I can't imagine hating the game for these problems. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah, I wish my items didn't
I'm
break
just saying-
as frequently, but geez, fuck it, whatever. Like,
Yeah, you just get a new one.
There was a point in time, though, that, like, the biggest games of the year, the AAA games, the ones that had the best graphics, the one that had the most buzz, the ones that, like, everyone was talking about, our Last of Us's, our God of War's, our Clara Obscura, I guess, this year, those were the Nintendo games. That was the newest Mario. That was the newest Donkey Kong. Like, in 1994, do you know what the top graphics game was that year? It was Donkey Kong Country.
Okay.
Like, that was the
That's
big
crazy.
powerhouse game that everyone was super impressed by. And Nintendo hasn't done that since the Wii.
Well, they've literally never at any point focused on that.
No, that's not true. They used to. They used to do that. They
I
used
meant
to be
after.
the top.
obviously I meant after.
And not until the Wii. Like, the
Yeah.
N64 was the more powerful system than the PlayStation. The GameCube was actually kind of a fucking monster.
It was pretty powerful.
And then, like, they just relegated themselves to being the side game option. They make kids games. They make
Yeah.
like side products that makes
make
the
fun
Nintendo fans
stuff.
happy. And
Mhm.
it kind of bums me out. But that's not why I hate them. I hate them for being greedy.
Yeah, they have gone supernova in terms of greed recently. It's been very annoying. We talked about a lot of stuff we've already we've touched on, the fucking virtual boy shit. Their overwhelming, annoyingly incessant desire to destroy any fan-made versions of their games for any reason.
Oh my! Well, there's a few bastions of like unknowns, like the Advance Wars by web community, and like I've recently found out that there's some people who play Metroid Prime Hunters like online on their PC, and it's the coolest fucking thing. I'm like, I hope Nintendo decides they're not gonna fucking release Metroid Prime Hunters on the Switch anytime soon, because if they do, they'll have to shut this down.
Yeah, there's a million things like that. I've complained probably on this podcast and other places. I know I have the incessant need for Nintendo to never have their games be less than full price at any point.
That's something that was created during the Switch era. That wasn't a thing before. They
Yeah.
had Nintendo Selects, which were specifically, we are reducing the price so that people will rebuy these games.
And it always bothered me that frickin' Super Mario Maker 1 was the same price as Super Mario Maker 2 the entire time, that they both existed at the same time.
I am
Remember
eternally
Nintendo
grateful.
Direct- Oh, sorry.
Well, they have the emulators on the Switch of the old consoles, and that's the only thing I play because I'm like, thank God I can play like 100 old fucking video games for free. So it's okay. You can play video games for free from Nintendo as long as you're lagging 40 years behind where they're at any given time. Yeah.
Okay, playing 40 years behind, playing a handful of good Nintendo games, but otherwise scraping the bottom of the fucking barrel. Like, the shit that they put on Nintendo Switch Online is fucking embarrassing. You know what they just added to the Super Nintendo app? Bubsy.
No, that actually makes sense.
Hooray!
No,
We
that
can finally fucking play Bubsy.
that actually makes sense. You know they're making a new Bubsy, right?
Well, that's
Wow.
actually because normally they don't fucking do that. They're like, okay, we're just gonna not put this game on there for a really long time. Like, I was
It's not Nintendo, but somebody's making a Bubsy game. It's coming out soon.
good for them.
It's gonna be making fun of the other Bubsy games. So if Bubsy's getting new new like attention, it makes sense that they would put the original on the Switch. Yeah. I hate I hate Nintendo's entire like everything. I was one of the haters for a while. You pointed out a lot of things that Nintendo have done really well, and you convinced me to move toward more of a neutral position, generally speaking, over the years. But there's still just a general something about this fucking company is annoying as shit.
Well, right now they are turning into Disney. They are like buying into non-video game media.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're spreading out their fucking tendrils all over the fucking place. And I'm just getting such bad fucking vibes. So I was telling Alex about this the other day. But did you see any news about the little video short that Nintendo put out?
No.
Okay, so first of all, do you know that Nintendo has their own like little news app that they put out recently?
I did not.
So after, Twitter fiascos, because as you can imagine, Nintendo's like, okay, here's an app. It's called Nintendo Today. It's just going to be where we're going to post official Nintendo news so that you know that it's real news.
Yeah.
And you can, oh my God, you can't like or dislike any little posts. Instead, you have to vote on whether it is funny or cool or it's so obnoxious. I fucking hate them so much. So I got a notification. They don't normally notify you of news updates. They just like expect you to, click on it and see what the new posts are. But I got a notification of a video clip called like Close to You or something like that.
Okay.
And it's this little animated short. It's like a Pixar or
Yeah.
I comparing it to Pixar is giving it too much credit. Like
It's
Pixar
the guys who
is
made
really
Minions.
good.
I think they're the guys who made Minions.
Well, no, it's Nintendo's actual proprietary animation studio. That
yeah,
they
but
just
that's a better
recently bought.
comparison.
Well, they just recently got their own studio.
Okay.
And comparison, it's just an animated short. It had a baby, and the baby's like playing with its toys, and then its toys start magically like moving, and then it's like chasing around its magically moving toys, and it gets up and it starts like taking its first steps, and the mom comes in at that time, and she sees the baby taking the steps, and she hugs the baby, and it's this heartfelt moment. It's this very saccharine, very, very emotional, very, very... What is this? Why does this exist? Why did you post this? That's where the video ends. Like, what is this? What is this video? And like 2 days later, they repost the same thing again, only now it's got Pikmin in it. And the Pikmin are the ones that are moving the stuff around.
What?
And I'm like, again, what the fuck is this? Is this a
Is this an ad?
Is this a new Pikmin announcement? Is there going to be a Pikmin movie? Are they just... I mean, from what I can tell, they're just showing off what their animation studio can do. But, like, I was so fucking offended by this, like, first short. Because it is so emotional, so fucking, like, heartfelt. And it's like, there's no author to this video. They don't credit anyone for creating, and there's no human behind it. It's just a thing that Nintendo put out. And when Nintendo puts it out, I imagine old Japanese businessmen. You know, like the kind that show up in the Nintendo Direct. I'm like, this is the most inauthentic bullshit thing I've ever fucking seen. It just comes off as so fucking scuzzy to me. Like, what are you trying to sell me? And apparently they're trying to sell me Pikmin.
Evidently, yeah. Maybe they made it with AI.
They could have. I don't know. I just want to fucking slap the person who wrote the little script for the little screenplay for it, because, like I said, it's not that like the actual elements of it are offensive. It's the context around it. It's the giant evil corporation.
The fact that on your phone, as you're walking through the day, a notification pops up. It's a video from Nintendo. Oh, okay. You watch it. It's just a heartfelt movie, and you're like, why did you do this?
I don't feel like I like watching independent animation. Like, I remember a while ago Reddit had this one where it was like this black dad, and he's trying to help his daughter fix her hair, and her, like, she's like, the big twist at the end is that they're going to visit their mom in the hospital because her mom is a cancer patient going through chemo, and she doesn't have any hair, but before this happened she was like a hairdresser. So it was like a big cultural
big
thing.
Deal,
very
yeah.
Emotional, very saccharine, very whatever bullshit thing. But like, at least then I can look up the creator of this cartoon, and I can learn a little bit about him and where it's coming from, and it's like, okay, there's authenticity here.
Yeah.
Like, it might be a bit much, and like might be a little bit on the nose, it might be a little bit too artsy-fartsy, like student first film kind of thing for me, but it isn't inauthentic in the same way this Nintendo short felt to me. It isn't this cynical bullshit fucking thing.
Yeah, it's just a thing they made.
Because you're not going to convince me that you're not evil, Nintendo.
Yeah. They are evil.
Not when you're fucking going into the theme park biz. Not when you're fucking making all these goddamn awful movies about your Nintendo characters now.
I'm so annoyed. I can talk about how much I hate that video game movies are becoming more and more of a thing.
Yeah, because they finally made money for the first time ever. So now this is what we are subjected to.
I can't stand it. I watched the Minecraft movie and I hated every single second of it. I went to see it theaters to see it.
Why didn't you talk about this on the last Hater episode?
Because I don't remember it at the time.
Yeah,
because it was that memorable.
This is unhealthy.
Really
Let's not
bad.
unpack this.
No, this is a Hater episode. I want to talk about things I hate. I hate video game movies. I hate the casting of Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie.
Yep.
No fucking shade to Tom Holland, but he
Great
looks like a
actor.
12-year-old kid, and he does not look like Nathan
He
Drake.
does
I
not.
mean,
it's
I
very
hate the
confusing
casting
and
of
odd.
Sully a lot more.
Sully. Oh, well, who was Sully in that?
Yeah, I don't even know who played Sully in the Uncharted movie. I never saw the Uncharted
It was Mark fucking Wahlberg.
Oh, yeah! What the fuck was that?
They're like,
That's
you know,
so weird.
And like,
beloved character Sully. He's likable. He's like a mentored kind of fatherly, brotherly figure to Nathan. They're like, yeah, let's get Mark
Yep.
he's an
Wahlberg,
older dude.
a
who smokes
colossal
cigars.
racist piece of shit with no charisma.
I mean, just in terms of like age and appearance, Mark Wahlberg would have been a better cast for Nathan Drake than fucking
Tom Holland, yeah.
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Because at least he looks like a grown-up.
Okay, this wouldn't work. This wouldn't be better casting necessarily. It wouldn't be like perfect for Sully. But imagine if it was Larry David.
Oh.
Like it wouldn't be perfect.
No, no, we're gonna do Nathan Drake is played by Jerry Seinfeld, and Sully is played by Jason Alexander.
Oh,
Perfect. I
I
see no flaws.
I didn't see the Uncharted movie. Was it bad? I don't know.
I
Did you watch it, Alex?
no, why would I?
No, of course not.
You
The only
actually
video
like the
game
Uncharted
movie,
games.
the only video game movie I've seen was the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which I didn't think was terrible, but I did think it was bad, like distinctly a below
You mean the
average
original
movie.
one?
Oh no, I've seen that as well. Honestly, that movie's better than
Okay.
the newer one.
Yeah.
It is better. Like I hated it as a kid, but now looking back on it, I'm like, at least this is interesting.
Yeah.
No, the
I
newer one,
watched
I was
the
just
new
like,
animated. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the newer one is just like a below average children's animated film, and people will give
Yeah.
like a lot of excuses for bad children's animated films because they're like they're just for kids. It doesn't matter, and I think that's bullshit because I think animation
It is
is a
fucking bullshit.
yeah, it's a highly underrated art form that deserves more respect, and I think that there's lots of phenomenal family movies that like there's no excuse for like why the quality should be lower if the primary audience are children. Like Spirited Away exists. Like why are we still having this fucking conversation, right? But
Yeah.
Why are we
it's
still having it? Why are we
it's
still
not
making live action adaptations of animated movies? Why do people go to see those? Why do people spend money on
People
those?
do not go to see those, Ben. They watch them on Netflix.
I mean, fair enough.
or Disney Plus.
I will also make one slight point. I think that live action versions are possible to be made good because I have been told by fans that the One Piece live action is actually quite good.
I have also heard that the One Piece, not that I've never read One Piece and never watched the anime, and I'm not going to watch the live action series, but I have also heard that it is good, and that kind of baffles me.
Yes, because I think the creators of it were like, we know what they must have loved One Piece, so they knew what to do.
But my issue isn't the way it was adapted, it is the purpose of the project in the first place. Because
Yeah.
the reason we want to see live action adaptations of animated things is because we want to see what it would be like in real life, I guess.
It's the same thing as why we make video game movies. It's so that they're now legitimate.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, the idea that video games are made more legitimate by becoming movies doesn't fucking make sense.
No, it does not. But
Like-
that's not how like people think. That's how we think.
Are movies even considered a legitimate art form anymore? Because nobody fucking goes to the theater anymore.
Well,
I was
I
gonna
mean,
say,
they are, but,
if
like,
you
they're so marred in. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
what
I'm
you would
sorry.
need instead if you wanna take your video game slop and grant it legitimacy in the eyes of the discerning public, you have to give it a high budget prestige mini series drama like The Last of Us did.
Last of Us.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And it's funny
Which,
because
like-
The Last of Us, again, I didn't see it, but by all accounts, it was a phenomenal TV show. Everybody fucking loved it. It was, really well acclaimed.
Yep.
But the fact is, why would anyone be surprised that that would have been a rare good video game adaptation when the source material was already a video game that was specifically going out of its way to be as movie-like as possible? Like, this is the laziest fucking thing. Like, even if it is a good show, its existence, like what it actually is, it serves no purpose, and I disagree with the premise and on its face. Like, why did this have to happen?
Yeah, it was pretty clear that Last of Us, and there's a few other examples like Quantum Break, I think is one, were things where the creator wanted to make a movie, but they didn't have the skill set or a budget for a movie, so they went to video games because that's what they know.
I've always been a hater of the cinematic video game, like that as a goal. Not
God
that,
of War.
I mean, not even. The one camera take thing just doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know what they were going for, but like, you pause the game sometimes, right? Your one take thing was instantly ruined by gameplay.
Boop, I need to go do something. Yeah, and I like the new God of Wars. I think they're good because they're fun games, and I think the stories are interesting enough. But they are indicative of the exact problem with like cinematic video games. They're the exact issue. It's like There's zero control that I have over anything. I'm just sort of here to play. There's no losing. There's no fail state or whatever we referred to it last time. Do you remember, Cole?
We just mentioned an agonic element, but there's definitely that in God of War. You can
Well,
still lose the game.
Yeah, you can still lose. Well, it's the same as like you can lose, but the losing is just you play again.
Mhm.
You just keep
I
playing.
will.
As long as you keep playing,
Uh,
you will eventually succeed.
That's true of every video game.
Yeah,
I
to a
want to
degree.
I want to pick on Uncharted
But-
for a moment because I do like Uncharted, but it's another good example of like the problem with these kinds of games is it uses a lot of QuickTime events, and that is just
Yeah.
how
Oh,
they
yeah.
take the long cinematic sequences, basically cutscenes, and make them, marginally interactive so that we can tell ourselves this is a video game. Is every few minutes we are going to prompt you to have to press the right button to get through this cutscene, but the problem is, okay, yeah, this is the bare minimum for it to still be called a video game. But if you fail, you've now ruined the cutscene, and you're going to have to start over from the beginning. And that is not a meaningful consequence from a gameplay standpoint. Like that's nothing. Like, okay, let's rewind 5 seconds and you just try again. This isn't a meaningful challenge, but it is a meaningful consequence in terms of ruining the cinematic experience as like an audience member who is enjoying this movie up until suddenly Nathan Drake face plants into a wall because you were fucking up your parkour, and it's embarrassing and hilarious, and you're like, fuck, and like, well, you don't want that either. Like, that's completely antithetical to the goals of this ostensibly being a cinematic experience, right? Like, I was enjoying this cool story up until I made an absolute fool of myself. Like, and it was embarrassing and stupid, and I feel like an asshole now. Like, I don't want that either.
You first.
Or you do it like how they did it in Heavy Rain.
How they do in Heavy Rain?
In Heavy Rain, if there's like a chase sequence, they'll have the QuickTime events. But if you fail the QuickTime events, it still goes. He just stumbles or something.
Okay.
So
So
if
what's
he's-
the consequence?
There isn't really one. Like there might be one in the gameplay element, like if you don't do the number of choices or whatever down the line. But if you're going through and you try to jump over a thing and you don't hit it right, you fall and you have to go around it.
And it's that doesn't bother me as much beyond the what's the point of even interacting with the game.
It just makes it really funny.
That would work. That works as long as you're doing the Resident Evil 4 trick where you're not telling the players how this is going to work and they think they can actually fail. And then it's like, okay, that's
But
fine, I guess, but also
The moment you fail once, you've seen through the illusion. You're like, oh, I didn't fail, actually. I didn't press the button, and yet here I am still running. I'm merely stumbling a little. Like, it's such a flimsy illusion.
Yeah,
What's the point?
that's when a player like me is like, okay, I need to test the bounds of the system. Like you fail permanently if you fail like 3 times. How many times do I have to fail? I'm just gonna keep on purposely failing. What if I don't even move? What if I don't run?
Yeah.
Like what happens then? And then the cinematic game is destroyed for me. And that happens with every cinematic game I ever play because cinematic games are not designed for my player profile. I'm not a Timmy, Johnny, or a Spike, and I'm apparently not a Nathan Drake either.
One other thing I'll hate. I think this will be our last hate because we gotta get out of here soon.
I thought we had till 12:30.
Yeah, but we don't.
Oh, this is going to be a big hate then.
I'm okay.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge
the
hate
thing-
if it's going to take us to 12:30.
I don't know if it's gonna be huge. The thing that I hate about modern video gaming is their overwhelming incessance of corporations and developers to create cool experiences
Yeah.
when that isn't how it works.
They are so obsessed with the set pieces.
Yeah, the idea that we can make you a thing that's really cool. You can get a minigun for this section of the game, and that'll be cool. And it's kind of cool for like a second, but then you go play like Breath of the Wild, where you can skate on a shield down a hill and hit a guy with a big hammer. And that makes the game so much better and more fun because they just give you the opportunity to do it yourself.
To clarify for listeners who have not played enough games, like one version is they create it's a scripted moment where what's the one in Uncharted 4? It's like there's a big chase scene, and I know there's a part where you're like you're on the water and there's like a bridge above you that's exploding and stuff like that, and you're interacting with all the QuickTime events.
And you have to do you have to use your hook to get over it or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. It's a QuickTime event, but whatever. There is gameplay involved. I'm not going to criticize it too much for that. But at the same time, like, it is a scripted moment compared to you interacting with the game mechanics in Breath of the Wild. On any mountain, on any slope, anytime you jump, you can just pull your shield out and put it under your feet.
Yep, and then
And
you
if
can
you're on
slide.
a slope, you can slide down the slope on your shield. And if there's an enemy, you can do a big maneuver by flipping over it and hitting it or something like that. And that's all player driven. That's all you creating that moment.
Another way of putting that, actually, another game we can use that for is you have the Uncharted sequence where you're going on a boat and you're going, and a bridge is exploding, so you have to use your hook to get over top of it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, it's cool, but it's like obviously set piece. You can do the exact same thing. You can set up the exact same scenario, full 1-to-1 in Just Cause.
Yeah.
In Just Cause, you can do the exact same thing, but it's actually you doing it. You have all the control. You can still fuck this up. You can do this 20 times and fuck it up, but you can do the same thing.
For
But
me,
Uncharted is such a great, or not Uncharted, sorry. Just Cause is a great open experience where you really have the ability to do whatever the fuck you want.
They
I'm
call
always
this
gonna be
emergent
more
gameplay.
impressed by the little things in Uncharted.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alex. I was speaking.
I said they call this emergent gameplay, is what you're describing, is the gameplay experience emerges as a natural consequence of just all the different elements and mechanics coming together on their own and just simply following their own rules. That, if you have the right ingredients, they will naturally produce these unscripted, unplanned, sort of spontaneous moments that could rival the spectacle of like a carefully crafted, what did you say, like a set piece, you know?
Set piece. It's kind of like the point of immersive sims.
Well, like, okay. This is gonna be kind of funny, but one of the first games to really do like the set pieces thing, you might be a little surprised to hear this. It was Super Metroid.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
the entire final boss sequence is a little bit shameless, and how much it's just like a cutscene you're playing through, and it's legendary as one of the best final bosses of all time.
It really is like really well known for that too, but like, because Yoshio Sakamoto was obsessed with movies and he wanted to create like more cinematic moments, and there's lots of like
I don't want to dig into. We have a Super Metroid episode coming up, but I have a list of cinematic moments in that game actually.
yeah, I did want to like bring up because those are really cool, but we're talking about a game from 1994, a 2D sprite-based game where a cinematic moment takes like 4 seconds. The
Yeah.
door shuts behind you and the boss comes to life in front of you. You know, the final boss being like the longest sequence of that, and it's not even though like there is a lot of cutscene element to it. I should point out like it actually becomes a challenging boss fight when you speed run it, but that's one of those miracles that Super Metroid performs.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I would like to make a comparison.
So that was the big one. Go ahead.
What you're describing, I think, also analogizes quite smoothly with role-playing games and the difference between trad style gaming and the old school tradition, what it advocates for, in opposition to that, which is a more open and emergent gameplay experience. Because trad gaming, as is mostly been established, like really cemented by Wizards of the Coast, and what you would find in a lot of like D&D official adventures is scripted sequences, right? Like they have a set piece that they want you to run your players through, that you're just railroading them, and the players are supposed to just sit back and passively receive this as the audience and not as participants. Only the most token of participation, like basically when I say free, you say bird, but little more than that. And if ever they break from these rails, somebody fucked up, right? And like that's the being a good dungeon master is about learning how to keep them on those rails because they have to experience this exact story. Whereas I think I speak for all of us when I say that we generally like more the kinds of games where there is no plot that's been scripted. We have no idea what's going to happen. Things can just happen based on the inevitable consequences of when you interact with things. Ryan,
Mm-hmm.
when last we played Tricks and Treats, uh, without spoiling the scenario, you guys defeated the monsters uh, by using some methods that I did not script at all, but totally could have. I think you
Yeah.
stole a fire truck and you
Hell yeah,
loaded the
we did.
fire truck's hose up with some poison, and you went around blasting monsters with poison from a fire hose. And it was awesome. And you can imagine the version of the scenario where that was a scripted sequence that I had to railroad the players into because it was a spectacular climax to the adventure, right? But I didn't. You guys just did that. And that was
Yeah, we
amazing.
did. It was
And
so
I've run that
cool.
adventure for like a ton of other groups, and none of them have ever solved it in that particular way before. They solved it in other ways that were also spectacular, but also were not planned, you know? And I'm like, that's what's cool about games is that you get to do shit that you came up with and you see the consequences.
For like our listeners who have never played D&D, or for more importantly, have never DM'd and have never opened a pre-written adventure,
Oh my god.
like open up a Wizard of the Coast adventure. I'm gonna recommend Horde of the Dragon Queen because it's one of the worst fucking things ever created. And like, here's how it's laid out. Here's a map, and here's like a list of events that are going to happen. And maybe they don't expect the events to happen in like that particular order, but this is the thing. You're supposed to have a duel with the Dragon Man.
blah, blah, blah.
You're supposed to have a fight outside this
it's
barn.
it's bananas how often they will literally just say something like, and then the players will do this very confidently
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
with no notion at all of like, what if they don't do that? Like, what if they don't make this decision that you have confidently asserted they will definitely make? That's crazy. Like, where is this confidence coming from? Have you ever played D&D with human beings before?
Compare that to a pre-written adventure in the OSR space. I'll name three great examples. One, Haunting of Willoughby Hall. Two, the Ypsilon 14 or whatever, the one from Mothership, the base one. Three,
Yeah.
any of Alex's Trick or Treats adventures.
Yep.
All of them are the same in that it'll literally just be a map and the things that are in the map. Like the things that are in that world. The monsters that are there, the treasures that are there, the random tables you might have to roll. But it doesn't tell you anything about what's going to happen, because the point is that the players are going to do stuff and then stuff is going to happen. And you don't know what they're going to do.
I've never done that before.
What did you?
I don't know.
You kicked the table.
My bad.
So like a classic example from Haunting of Willoughby Hall. I think that's the correct name of the thing, Alex. I'm sure you'll correct me if.
I'm pretty sure,
So
but
that
now you
one's
got me down.
you're like in a haunted house. You run into a haunted house because you're being chased by a pissed off cloud giant.
Right.
Okay, there's like a 40 fucking foot tall guy who's swinging around a church bell like a mace. And
It's because you
you're inside
stole
a
his
haunted
goose
house,
that lays
and
golden eggs.
I love it. Such a good adventure. Shout out to Ben Milton. But like the way you can defeat the giant is like he described a scenario when he was playtesting where like his ventures found a bunch of like random potions and they decided to slingshot potions into the giant's mouth. Like there was nothing written in the adventure saying that they should try doing that. There's just potions and there is a giant and there is the logic of, well, what if we fucking feed the potions to the giant? What would happen then? You know?
We're doing an Emperor's New Groove situation. Let's go.
I played that adventure recently, and we also got to the same potion room, and my allies all started drinking the potions, which was a bad idea. And they also kept trying to fight the giant. They kept trying to fight the giant, and I kept trying to tell them that giant doesn't have hit points. You're not going to defeat it. I mean, it does have hit points technically, but like, no, like it's not. You're not going to defeat it in combat. Like, stop. Like, your weapon is that can have no effect on it. What are you doing? Thankfully, no one died somehow. I wonder if maybe our game master was just pulling his punches because he should have stomped us. We survived. We went through most of that mansion, and we ended up not being able to take any valuables with us because my allies made such terrible decisions the entire time. So many pieces of treasure were thrown at the giant.
If you're gonna fucking throw away the treasure, you might have just returned the fucking goose at that point. Oh wait, yeah, the players don't steal the goose. Someone else stole the goose.
Yeah, they just get
Well, no,
blamed.
the player stole the goose, but then the goose gets loose because it's a goose, and so we're running around the mansion trying to find the goose that's on the loose, and
Loose
no, we
goose,
never
go.
got the goose back.
If it were a Wizard of the Coast adventure, they would have had a sequence where you throw the potions into the giant's mouth or whatever, and that would have been the way you have to defeat it.
They also would have made sure that all of the information for all of the characters in the game are all nowhere near where you meet the characters. So you introduce a character, and then
Oh
you
my
go,
God.
who the fuck is this guy? And then you have to go looking through the whole fucking thing to figure it out. And you're like, whatever, I'll come up with something on the spot. Come up with something on the spot, and then you finally find the page that explains all of the characters in one thing at the very end, and you're like, why did you do this to me?
But it wouldn't have all the character information there. Some of it would, like important details, would be sprinkled throughout the rest of the adventure. Like when you find out that actually the goose has been like a human being, like an enchantress who had been transformed into a goose. That's not in the goose's description. That's like in one of the descriptions of a room in the map key or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh
They're
my
not good
God.
at making them. It's crazy. I will say, Alex, do you know the one that's the heist one they made recently, where you have a series of heists you pull on vaults and whatnot?
It's a Wizard of the Coast adventure?
I'm fairly sure it is. If it isn't,
Uh,
then I
I
might be mistaken.
I have not kept up with the last couple years of official 5e releases.
Yeah,
Give me a sec.
I think the last thing I actually remember hearing about was the Tomb of Annihilation, the Tomb of Horrors sequel.
Yeah, Mike is going through that right now.
I hope he has a
I
lot of fun.
I told him that he
uh,
will not.
I mean, he might. Like, at the end of the day,
you
like, players are gonna enjoy what they enjoy.
Yeah.
you have reminded me, Ryan, of a different one that came out a long time ago now, I suppose. Give me a sec. It was in 2018, Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Um, which pisses me off for a different reason. I hate that adventure because it's not a heist,
Mm-hmm.
even though the title is Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Um, it's
Hell
an
yeah.
adventure that takes place in the Forgotten Realms in the city of Waterdeep. I'm sure it probably features in Baldur's Gate 3 if anyone's ever played that. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a dragon that had a big hoard of treasure, and it's sort of a treasure hunt, not a heist. These are two different things, two different
Yeah.
adventure scenarios, right? Don't call it a heist, it's a treasure hunt. But also, the player characters are not
Don't
on
call
the
it a
treasure
comeback.
hunt. There's a bunch of different NPC factions and villains who are all competing with one another to be the first one to find the treasure. But this is a plot that's happening in the background of the adventure while the players are doing entirely unrelated things. And they will periodically hear about the ongoing treasure hunt of all of these NPCs, but the players are not participating in that. It's just like a running thread in the background. They're mostly doing like cop bullshit, like like working with the authorities to apprehend criminals and that kind of nonsense, while they hear about
That
these
sounds
NPCs
awful.
doing this thing in the background, and then the players accidentally stumble into the treasure before any of those NPCs had found it. So it's important to the plot of the scenario. Like you will get involved in the dragon heist, in the treasure hunt, accidentally, and then you come into
Okay.
conflict with all of those guys who've been seeking out the treasure. It's such a convoluted and ridiculous plot. It's unsatisfying. It would be maddening to be the players in that scenario where you keep hearing about this treasure hunt, and then whenever you're like, should we pursue that? That sounds awesome. You're smacked in the face for it. Like, how dare you? What are you thinking? That's not the pre-scripted plot. Get back on the plot. Because we have to have the specific moment where it's suddenly a plot twist that you will stumble into it. It's sacred and important that you have to have this experience, even though it's just a stupider story than if players were just pursuing a treasure. Like, don't you want to do that? This is Dungeons and Dragons. Like, why are you so married to this particular sequence of events where the players don't get involved until they accident? I don't know. It's dumb. It's dumb.
Complain about Storm King's Thunder next.
No, we don't have a time,
No.
unfortunately. I was my point is I'm pretty sure that I believe it's a Wizard of the Coast adventure where you have a series of heists you do on casinos and banks and whatnot. I think that one is a lot better than the previous one from what I read about it, or read of it, because I also played that a little bit, but it was played with Will, so it's kind of a confusion. But I couldn't say for certain if that was actually Wizard of the Coast or someone else. I'll have to look more into that and get back to everybody.
I mean, Wizard of the Coast has just a negative effect on the industry, but they're not responsible for everything.
No.
Like, Alex wrote he actually has a published series of articles about hex crawls, and the most frustrating thing about that, in my opinion, is that the magazine that he published it for reformatted everything to look like Wizards of the Coast style material. Like, it looked like a D&D manual.
Oh.
And the worst thing Wizards of the Coast does is the formatting. Like, it just makes everything hard to read and hard to get your information as a DM, you know?
Yeah. That sucks.
No criticisms or anything about the actual content of your Hexcrawl article, Alex. I just
Yeah,
hate
actually,
that
as a matter of
formatting
fact,
is-
everyone listening to this should buy Book of Hexcrawl, published by Kobold Press.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, you should buy that, actually. You should pay.
Okay,
you should pay
actually,
money.
okay. So here's the thing. They split it up, so it was going to be a big book, but they're like, let's actually release one chapter at a time, so you buy the individual chapters. So they have like an ongoing release cycle thing where you're all like waiting for the next installment. And then when the whole thing was done, they would compile all of it together in one volume that you could buy.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I mean, I don't see the logic of that, but like it's your business. You guys are in the business of like publishing books, and you make like they make a lot of money off of it. Like it's a big company.
Yeah.
So they would know better than me. The very first chapter was like a bestseller on Drive Through RPG. Like it skyrocketed to the top. The final chapter they published has, I think, single digit sales still. um, and they never ended up publishing the final chapter because of that. So you should all go buy that and convince them there's an audience for it. I
Alex
want
needs a
that final
paycheck.
chapter to be released. I would love for people to read that final chapter.
Yeah, if they actually made the thing they were gonna do, yeah, that'd be cool. All right, we are now strapped for time. We have to get the heck out of here.
I'm so annoyed that we wasted so much time getting the. It's gonna fucking end up happening. Is the video is gonna be corrupted, or the sound is gonna be messed up, or Alex's audio is gonna be completely out of sync.
I think his
I
is
hate-
not going to be.
I hate you for saying that.
For being a pessimist,
I don't think it will
Just
be.
for-
I think we're just hearing it out of sync.
just call me a hater, because that's what I am.
Everybody say goodbye. Let's start with Alex. Alex, you say goodbye.
I hate
Ben
you.
pointed at Alex.
Oh,
There we go.
sorry.
Point and look at Alex.
This is Alex. This is not Alex here. That's Alex there.
Yeah.
Am I pointing at the audience? I hate you.
Hey,
Well, you have to tell them bye either way.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye. Ben, say goodbye.
no.
Okay. Bye, audience. It was lovely having you here. We don't hate you. I mean, we kind of hate parts of you, but that's just Eric.
I hate the toxic parts of you, Eric. I didn't actually mean that for Eric. I just meant any part of my audience that I hate the toxic parts of our audience, which I'm sure will.
When I said I hate the audience, I was
also, thanks for-
referring to myself. Like, because I'm the audience.
our number one fan.
I also wanted to say hi to Max. Max finally announced himself. Like,
Oh,
hi, Max.
Hi, Max.
Bye, Max.
Hi,
Our former
producer.
producer.
And done.